Another driving video. Back out. Okay, so today's topic is going to be a little bit difficult, and if you have any trauma from thinking about fire or anybody talking about fire, you might not want to watch this video. But I was going to talk about the Station nightclub fire that we had here in Rhode Island back in 2003. The band Great White actually came to Rhode Island to play, and they played at this club called The Station. And actually, we have a lot of people here that like rock and roll music, and I know a lot of people that were actually gonna go to the show, and they ended up not going. And I actually know a lot of people that they knew people that went to the show or knew people that were supposed to go. So anyway, this band Great White, they came up on stage at this nightclub, and the nightclub actually was like overpacked with people, about 400 people or more. And as soon as the band came on stage, they actually lit off pyrotechnics, and the pyrotechnics ignited the walls of the club, which were lined with flammable foam, the kind of foam that they use to soundproof. So you can actually look up a video on YouTube of exactly what happened in the first few minutes of the fire. So the actual horribleness of it all, I'm just looking at this guy because he passed me in such a rush just to park right there. I actually moved over so he could pass me because he came up so fast behind me. And then he just parked over here. Like, wow, why are you in such a hurry? I feel like I was driving about 25, which is normal for a residential neighborhood. Anyway, so like unfortunately the walls were caught on fire by all this pyrotechnics, and you can see in the video on YouTube that people just like stood there. About 15 seconds after people just stand there, they finally start like moving toward the exit, and then after they start moving toward the exit, then like other people started to like catch on that it was like there was smoke, and so apparently like the band tried to start to exit, and then like the walls caught on fire really fast, and the toxic foam actually let out like a toxic smoke, and the smoke was enough to kill people in just a few breaths. So a lot of people made it out like right away, but then actually like one of the band members went back in for his band equipment, and we found out later that he died. And then actually like a lot of people got jammed up at the entrance because they got like I guess they just got all jammed up at the entrance. Like people were trampled, and then as people got trampled, they blocked the entrance because there were so many bodies there. And so about 31 people were trapped at the entrance, which they died there. And it turns out that overall 100 people died in the club that night. So the reason that I'm talking about it is actually because that night I was sleeping with the TV on, and for some reason I woke right up. I sat right up in bed, and I was like, what? Because it showed the fire. It was that the local news team had actually just gone right over there as soon as they heard the report of the fire. So it was like the fire was actually happening live on TV as I was watching it, and they were interviewing the lead singer of the band Great White, and he said, I don't even know where my guitarist is, he's missing. And he looked horrified, and you could see all the people outside of the club, their horrified faces. And so that's probably like one of the most real things I've ever seen like live on TV, where I'm absolutely sure that was real. It happened. We have a memorial now, which it was originally just a circle of little crosses, but now they've made like a whole park out of it. Spent like $1 million, made a memorial park for the people that actually did die in it. A lot of the people that got out have PTSD. My boyfriend actually got a tattoo from one of the people that died in it. And then actually like one of the local like radio personalities died in it. His name was the Doc. He was on the local radio station. He was there and he died. A lot of us were pretty shocked at what happened, and it created a huge like ripple effect in our community because we all just really connected to the whole thing. I mean, we all knew somebody that was in it or part of it. This guy's garbage picking over here at the dumpster. We all know somebody that was part of it. If not affected by the fire, then they maybe are a person that treats PTSD. Maybe they're a person that was a doctor that treated the burn victims. You know, it's just it's a huge ripple effect. And then there was a huge lawsuit. So anyway, part of the way the fire affected me was that it gave me a real example of real life on TV, and then it also gave me a reason to be more cautious when I go to events like that, clubs and things like that. And then after that happened, I felt traumatized by the whole situation, so I actually avoided clubs besides like outdoor concerts. I did go to one club and it was pretty uncomfortable. I went to the Worcester Palladium to see the Cottonmouth Kings, and the club was just, I felt really like congested in there, and it was just too crowded. And so now, you know, when I go places, I actually look for the entrance and exit. I look for the fire hydrants. You know, I look to see if other people are paying attention or not. I have a younger generation and I have an older generation that are relying on me right now. So about like the real life, I mean, I think that now it's like you can almost look at the TV and you can tell when people are just making it up. You can tell when people are lying. I can tell. And I think that, you know, there's nothing special about me. I'm just an average observer that, you know, I somehow poked a hole in the whole screen. And then once I poked that one hole, it's like I could see right through. And it didn't take much for me to peel the whole wall down. You know, about the station fire, I think that, like, you know, crazy, horrific, traumatic events, like, really do happen. And these kind of things actually, like, should bring us together. And my friends and I actually held, like, a candlelight vigil just between the two of us, between the group of us, because we felt that, you know, through our intention that we could, you know, somehow send out some healing and some love to all the people that were affected. But it has been, it's very heavy and very deep for our generation, especially. Like, we all grew up in kind of like the grunge generation, and a lot of the people there were actually just a little bit older than me that really appreciated kind of like 80s hair metal, you know. And it's just sad. And I actually like had a panic attack myself because I was in a crowded area where somebody actually mentioned like, oh, this is a fire hazard, and it tripped off my panic, and I had to get out of there. So anyway, like, I guess I'd like to talk more about like the difference between like what's real and fake on TV, because I feel like I can really tell. And, you know, after the station fire, there were events 10 years later where we had an event in Connecticut, we had an event in Boston. You know, these things, when I see it on TV, I was able to see through it. You know, we're gonna have to keep thinking about how other people can maybe acquire this ability to see what they're not seeing. Like, how can we break people out of this trance? Because, like, you know, there's a mixture between real life and fake life right now, where people are living in some kind of matrix, and it's not good. So anyway, I think that some of us are really going to be able to break it down. So, yeah, so I got to go into work. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Research the station fire.